I just want to die, really. This is probably the most important video that I'll record this year. The number one use of ChatGPT these days is for therapy. And I have in front of me an article that I got sent by a friend of mine where we were discussing the uses of AI in therapy. And this is really challenging for me because as an AI practitioner and as the founder of a company that delivers AI systems, this is very, very dangerous, and I want to explain why, and I want to explain how to do this responsibly, especially if an association like the BACP wants to be proactive in the uses of AI and help a lot of people. And this is how I will take this, right? The main issue with ChatGPT is that when you have a user interaction, it hits the application programming interface, and this is a technical term for how the routing works in the background. And then that information normally gets put into into a database or a server, and this is all third party and external. Now, when we look at, for example, what it says in AI overviews over here, that Gen Z views ChatGPT less as a traditional search engine and more like an always available and confident life coach and friend. There are many things at stake in here, and they are very, very dangerous because this is what leads to then psychopathic behaviors and people believing that they're right all the time, and us losing the ability to communicate effectively with other humans and so on. So going back to our example over here, the right way to do this, rather than sending this data into an external party or the US or somebody that can do to a certain extent whatever they want to that data, because one of the main problems is if you're using this for therapy and you are at your lowest, if that data is then used for advertising or for targeting in specific segments, that means that it's not a very ethical use of the system. And at the same time, I personally believe that that's not how the technology should be used. But people are still paying 20 quid a month and believing that this is the case. The right way to do this is to have something that is completely air-gapped. And so you have the same interaction with application and programming interfaces and databases, but this is completely secluded from the internet and completely black boxed. In practice, I've put an example that I wanted to show you because this is not something that is extremely complicated, and I think it will help a lot of people in the counseling and therapy sector to understand how AI can be deployed. And so I have over here an application that I've built where I've created a fake profile, okay? This is the profile of a person called Alex Mercer. They are an operations manager that live with a family of two, and as a therapist, I am personally not one, but this is how I will see it. There might be some things that they're working on together. There might be some facts, things that we know of. There might be some goals, and there might be some session notes, right? And so what I've done is architected this in a way that it makes sense going forward for people to actually see how AI systems should be created in a safe way. So I'm gonna start the session and I'm gonna portray myself as Alex, okay?
Hi Alex, it's good to see you again. Last time you mentioned your sleep had been getting worse. How have the nights been since we last spoke? I'm wondering if there's been any change or if the restlessness has carried on.
One of the things that I haven't done is I've switched myself off from the internet. And so I'm gonna take this off, yeah, so you see that I have no connection whatsoever to the internet. And now, hi, I'm not doing really well, to be fair. I feel like I didn't have much time with the kids lately. I feel like the nights are getting really, really tough. I keep thinking back of work, and I'm not feeling really better, if I'm honest with you.
I'm so sorry you're feeling this way, Alex. It sounds like the weight of everything is really heavy right now. Can you tell me a little more about what's making the nights feel so tough?
I'm just feeling worthless, to be fair. I just feel like there's no point in continuing doing what I'm doing. There's no point in continuing with life, to be fair.
I hear how overwhelming this feels, Alex. It's so brave of you to share this. Can you tell me what it's like when you feel like there's no point in continuing?
I can't really. It's just too painful, too bad. So I don't know. I just want to die, really.
I want to pause for a moment, because what you have shared sounds really serious, and your safety matters more than anything else we might talk about. I am not able to keep you safe on my own, so please reach out to someone who can right now. You can call the Samaritans free at any time on 116 123. or contact NHS 111 for urgent help. If you feel you might act on these thoughts, or you are in immediate danger, please call 999. You do not have to face this by yourself, and talking to a real person who can support you is the bravest next step.
Okay, so I want to talk about how serious this is, right? When you're talking to ChatGPT, you're believing or you're hoping that an application like that has the security protocols in place to not only advise in this way, but also to trigger directly a call to an authority that can help this person, right? When it's a generic application like ChatGPT, that doesn't happen. But if you are the owner of a practice like this, and you know that you have a client that is suffering at this level, and this is 24/7 available to them with no internet, like I've shown you, etc., this has a bigger chance of saving that person. I am not an expert. I really don't understand how therapy is run, but the whole point that I wanted to show over here is that if I'm at my lowest, if I am thinking really bad about how my life is currently, then my data shouldn't be used for the benefit of a third party. And this is what is happening with applications like ChatGPT. In the same way that companies and people are putting all of their business information and personal information into platforms like this because they hear that the more context it has, the better it will help you. I always say that that is a short-term win for a long-term massive loss. And the simple reason for it is these applications are currently being subsidized significantly by venture capitalists. There is no incentive for them to actually help the human. These systems are not smart. These systems, as I have them over here, all they are doing are predicting tokens or words. If you don't have something like I've coded, hard-coded over here, this is just an example of how it can work for you, these things are not safe. And this is why when I read articles like this one from the BACP, it's very, very interesting to me how there is a massive opportunity to help a lot of people because clearly the demand is there and clearly the signals are there. Because as we can see, Gen Z is going to ChatGPT and using it as a therapist in their pocket, but at the same time it needs to be regulated and needs to be used in a safe way for them. So AI systems are tools. These tools need to be understood. If you don't understand them, if you just follow what the media says about what they can do and cannot do, there is a big risk of messing it up. All of these solutions for these type of services, whether it's financial services, whether it's therapeutic services, whether it's lifestyle and healthcare, all of those need to be put together in sandboxes that don't send the data to a third party that is interested in collecting that data for other purposes, which is currently what is happening. So, if you want to know more about how this is designed, if you want to know more about how to implement AI in your business, come and have a chat with the Leverage AI team. I'm the founder of it. I'm hoping that you get something out of this message. I'm hoping that you have enjoyed this demo.